a live look at the Democratic National Convention at the United Center in Chicago. Last night, former President Barack Obama took to that stage, and tonight it will be another former president, Bill Clinton, along with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, when he formally accepts his party's nomination for vice president. Nate Hood will be there tonight when the governor accepts the nomination, and he may refer to him as Coach Walz, though. Nate is a city planner in Minnesota, but more than 20 years ago, Nate played for Tim when Walz coached his high school football team, and Nate joins us now from Chicago. Thank you so much for taking the time, Nate. I really appreciate it. I know it's going to be a busy day. You're meant to be at the convention later tonight. I guess the big question really is, your former football coach is about to become the nominee for the Democratic Party to be the next vice president of the United States. That's a lot to think about. How are you feeling?
I still feel like somebody's going to pinch me and say, this isn't happening. It's really unbelievable. I was talking to my brother, and he said, we could live another 100 lifetimes, and this would never happen. So we're all still in a little shock. We had a little high school reunion here in Chicago, and everybody was like, this is crazy, right? Like, this is happening, right? Like, this is real. So I think that's really the feel from everybody that grew up in West Mankato around Tim and his wife, Gwen, everybody that had him as a coach and everybody that had him as a student. I think we're all just really happy for him. He was a great teacher, a great coach, and it's exciting to see, but I don't think anybody would have guessed it.
Now, you told our producer, David, that you're much more excited about this election cycle now because of Governor Walz, or Coach Walz, being on the ticket. Talk to us about why that shift happened.
Well, wow, when Kamala Harris got into the race, there was a vibe shift, is what the kids say. There was a vibe shift almost immediately. And then once, of course, she selected Tim, who's such a great speaker, such a great guy, such like a positive person. It just really, and then of course, you know, who doesn't want to know the Vice President of the United States? The energy that students, we got together immediately, we formed a quick Slack group, and we got to work to see what we could do to organize and get Tim as Vice President.
Talk to us about the man, the coach that you remember, because I think a lot of people will be wondering what qualities that he has that would make him a great vice president for the country, because most people outside of Minnesota didn't know much about him. And of course, as you say, he popped up on social media. He called Trump and Vance weird, which got him a lot of play as well. But you certainly have a different picture of him and an understanding of why you think he would make a great VP. Talk to us about that.
Well, first of all, if you can wrangle 48 16-year-olds and lead that team from a losing team to the state championship within 2 years, I think you can handle Congress and the Senate in D.C. So Tim is really prepped for that. You know, one of the things that's really interesting is when I see Coach Walz give a speech that goes viral, that same energy, we were seeing that back in 2000, 2001 when he was trying to pep up the defense to go out there in the fourth quarter and win the game. He was always that coach. He was always that upbeat coach who would give that, maybe perhaps a little nostalgic, but he would give that like rah-rah speech to really get you excited to go out there. And that's something that you're seeing now when he gives speeches that now go viral or on national television. I feel really lucky that we were able to see those speeches 20, 23, 24 years ago.
Now, here in Canada, hockey, a major part of our national culture and heritage. Where you are, obviously, that's football. It's very intrinsic to the American heartland. So for a lot of people who haven't met Tim Walz, who don't know Tim Walz in the way that you do, will look at him as a football coach and have a very interesting perception. They'll have a very specific view of this person because he was leading, you know, as you say, a bunch of 16-year-olds out on the football field. So what are Americans seeing when they hear that?
You know, that's a really good question. He was a great coach. Hopefully that, you know, they just understand that he was a great person, a great coach. And there's a reason that when we went to our high school reunion, 9 out of 10 people there, even people who are politically would not support some of Tim's policies, they would say, Tim Walz, one of the best teachers that I had, one of the best coaches that I've ever had. And just for the record, we're from Minnesota, so hockey is definitely our number 2 sport. So hopefully we can relate on that.
Thanks for doing this, Nate. I know you have a busy day ahead. You're going to be in the convention center, the United Center, I should say, tonight in Chicago when your former coach takes to the stage to give his address and accept that nomination. Have a great night. And maybe we can catch up with you again in a couple of days, see your reaction to how it all went down. Thanks for this. Nate Hood in Chicago.
Give me a call. Thank you.